At exactly 2:43 a.m., Daniel Mercer guided his freight train out of Blackwood Junction, a forgotten crossing buried deep in the forests of northern Pennsylvania. Fog clung to the tracks like wet breath, swallowing the trees, the signal lights, and the stars above. Night shifts were lonely, but Daniel preferred them. Fewer voices, fewer memories. He had been a train driver for 11 years. He knew every sound a train could make, every vibration through the steel floor. He knew the difference between a deer, a fallen branch, and a human mistake on the tracks. What he saw that night fit none of them. 5 miles past the junction, his headlights cut through the fog and revealed shapes ahead. Human shapes. They were standing directly on the tracks. Daniel's hand tightened on the controls. 7 figures. Men and women, and one small child holding a woman's hand. They stood shoulder to shoulder, facing the train, completely still. No panic, no movement, no attempt to escape. Daniel slammed the horn. The blast tore through the forest, echoing violently. Any living person would have jumped, screamed, or run. They didn't move. His heart hammered as he pulled the emergency brake. Sparks screamed beneath the wheels. Metal shrieked against metal. But the train was too heavy, too fast. The figures grew clearer with every second. Their faces were wrong. Their eyes reflected the headlights, pale and glassy, like animals caught in the road. Their mouths hung slightly open, stretched into shapes that looked almost like smiles. The child lifted its head. Hen waved. The train tore through them. Daniel screamed as the figures vanished beneath the engine. He braced for the sickening impact, the sound that haunted every driver's nightmares. But there was nothing. No thud, no scream, no resistance. The train slowed to a stop in dead silence. Daniel sat frozen, hands shaking, breath shallow. After several seconds, he grabbed his flashlight and stepped down onto the tracks. Fog swirled around his boots. The air smelled cold and old, like damp earth. There was no blood, no bodies. No sign anyone had ever been there. Just footprints on the rails. Their footprints. They ended abruptly, as if whoever made them had simply stopped existing. Dispatch didn't believe him. They never did. No reports. No missing persons. No evidence. Daniel finished his shift in silence, telling himself it was exhaustion, stress, imagination. Until the next night, 2:43 a.m. Same stretch of track, same fog. This time, there were more of them, at least 15. They stood closer together now, packed tightly across the rails. Some wore old-fashioned clothing, long coats, suspenders, dresses that belonged to another century. One man wore a conductor's cap, cracked and stained. Daniel didn't hit the horn. He already knew it wouldn't matter. As the train approached, the figures began to tilt their heads in perfect unison, like puppets pulled by invisible strings. Their mouths opened wider than human jaws should, and they spoke. Not out loud. Inside his head. Slow down. Daniel screamed and shut his eyes, yanking the brake. When he opened them again, the tracks were empty. At home, he didn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw their faces, heard the whisper crawling through his skull. He searched old railway records, accident reports, forgotten archives. What he found made his blood run cold. In 1912, a passenger train derailed near Blackwood Junction during heavy fog. Over 40 people died. The bodies of 7 passengers were never recovered. In 1947, a maintenance train collided with an unknown obstruction on the same stretch of track. 3 workers vanished without a trace. In 1989, a night shift driver reported seeing people standing on the rails. He resigned 2 weeks later and was found dead in his apartment. Eyes open, mouth frozen in a silent scream. Daniel called in sick the next night. At 2:43 a.m., his phone rang. The line crackled with static. "You were late," a voice whispered. Daniel quit the next morning, packed his apartment, left the town before sunset. He told himself distance would save him. But some tracks don't stay in one place. Weeks later, driving through a rural highway in another state, fog rolled across the road. His headlights caught movement ahead. People standing, waiting. As Daniel slammed the brakes, he realized the truth too late. They weren't haunting the tracks. They were waiting for drivers who could see them. And once you did, they followed you home.